Alright, you guys, man, first and foremost, happy November. We have 2 months left in 2022. It's been a great year so far, man. I'm looking forward to closing out this year strong. So if you guys are new to this channel and you want to see more film photography content, please consider subscribing down below and also maybe even dropping a like. We have a huge giveaway planned for 200K. Alright, you guys, but today we're going to be talking about my everyday carry street photography edition. I'm going to be going over some of the items that I carry on a daily basis when I go out to make street photographs. Now, the difference between the street photography edition and just kind of like what my everyday carry would be, typically when I go out for street photography, I like to keep a very low profile as well as keep my pack nice and light so I could travel farther. So with that said, I've had to be extremely strategic and conscious about weight as well as the intention for each of the items that I bring. They have to have and serve a purpose that works towards my street photography. And hopefully by the end of this episode, maybe I can put you guys on one of these items, because I do feel like I have it down to where this is like the ultimate lightweight street photography kit. So without further ado, here is my everyday carry. Alright, so first and foremost, you guys, let's jump into the bread and butter. What camera am I shooting on a daily basis? Now, this month I've embarked on a 1-year journey to create my next body of work, and I'm going to share more details here on the channel very soon. But what that pretty much means is I'm going to be kind of narrowing down the cameras that I shoot, and I've done that and I've narrowed it down to my one setup. So this camera is pretty much what I am shooting about 99% of the time. Alright, you guys, so the camera that I have been shooting for the last couple of weeks here is the Voigtlander Bessa R2A with the Voigtlander Ultron 28mm f2 lens. This is the spherical lens. Now, the R2A is a 35mm rangefinder camera. It shoots 35mm film, and this is one of my favorite rangefinder cameras. Now, I've had the Leica M2 in the past, but honestly, R2A just has a couple of more features that I prefer. For example, a built-in light meter as well as aperture priority. On top of that, the max shutter speed on this camera is 1/2000th of a second, and overall, just look how handsome the camera is. It performs extremely well. I've had this now for a little over 6 years, and it has been my go-to film camera for street photography. Now, as for the lens, you guys, this is a 28mm lens, a little bit of a switch up from what I am used to shooting. I'm used to shooting with like a 35mm Summicron, but I realized that a lot of my favorite photographers were shooting with the 28mm focal length, and so I picked one up for this camera, and I have had an absolute blast with it. Super sharp lens, amazing camera, and also, you guys, I have the green strap on here. This is kind of like my signature look for my street cameras. I have green straps on a lot of my street photography cameras, as well as a wooden hot shoe, or not hot shoe, excuse me, a wooden shutter button here on the top right corner. And I want to give you a little fun fact, you guys. The Voigtlander Bessa R2A doesn't have frame lines for a 28mm lens, and so what I am doing essentially is using the entire viewfinder as a framing device for my 28mm focal length. And so sometimes it can be a little bit weird, but if you guys are out there with this camera and you know want to shoot the 28mm focal length, you can definitely get away with using the entire viewfinder as a 28mm frame. So this is the camera that I create all of my film work on. The other camera that I have for my everyday carry is a camera that I take with me if I'm just going out to have fun or if I'm not doing anything super serious. And that camera, you guys, is this little guy right here, the Canon SD1000. Now, this might be a little curveball for some of you because you know that I have the Ricoh GR3, and don't get me wrong, the GR3 is an extremely fun camera, but the SD1000, you guys, this little digicam from 2000, I don't even know, is amazing. It has, I think, 6 megapixels, 7 megapixels. What I really like about this though is the flash option. So you can have the option to turn the flash on, and it creates these images that look a lot like they were shot on a 35mm film camera with flash. And so that's something that I really like if I'm going to a concert, maybe to a party, or just out to a bar with some friends. This is the camera that I bring with me, and it just has a lot of great features for a very small camera. It's pocketable. You can throw this in any jacket pocket. It's literally smaller than a box of gum, and so I really love this camera. If you guys want to see the video I did on it with my buddy Gable, I will leave a link somewhere up here in the cards because it's an amazing camera. Alright, so now that we got the cameras out of the way, let's talk about some of the items that I carry on my body on a daily basis. The first one, folks, would be some sort of a bag. Now the bag that I use changes depending on what mood I am in or just kind of where I'm going, but if I'm just going out, let's say for example to San Francisco, these are probably the two most common bags you'll see me carrying. The first one here is just a little canvas bag that I got from Utah. This was from Salt Lake City, and it's a pretty big bag. I like to bring this when I know that it's gonna be colder in the late night and I don't wanna wear my jacket, and so I'll throw my jacket in here along with the rest of the stuff that I carry. But if it's, you know, already cold, or if I'm already having a jacket on, or maybe I don't need one, honestly, this is the bag that I reach for. So this is a little bag that I got from Chinatown in the city, and it's generic. There is absolutely no branding whatsoever, but it does a hell of a job of keeping everything nice and compact and organized. So it is a over-the-shoulder bag, as you guys can see. Kind of strap it over this way. On the front, it has some Velcro here to attach pins or any other Velcro patch that you would want to throw on there, as well as a little buckle to expose that front pocket. And that front pocket is perfect to store things like keys, to store a wallet. You know, when I take this camera out, it fits in here perfectly, and it's a nice little quick access pocket that keeps your gear secure. So really love that on top and front of the bag here. Then it has one big pocket here at the very top, which just opens up by a zipper, and on the inside there is like a little mesh pocket. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this is typically where I just keep everything from like my wallet, keys, extra film, and some of the other stuff that I'm about to show you in this video. But one thing to note, you guys, is the styling of the bag. You know, it doesn't draw a lot of attention. It looks very tactical. You know, it has these little clips here that you can use to clip other things, whatever, you know, you want that to be. On the back side, it has almost like a belt loop attachment that you can use to attach to even like a backpack. And so the tactical feel combined with the storage is really what makes this bag effective for me. And like I said, this is why I go for this 99% of the time. So inside of the bag, I'll generally keep my wallet, which I'm probably not going to show on the screen because it's a very old wallet, but I'll keep my wallet in there. I will keep my car keys, but I will also keep this item. All right, so this thing right here, man, probably one of my most favorite accessories for film shooters is a Kodak film holder. So it's made out of metal. It has the nice Kodak branding here up at the very front. Hopefully you guys can see that and it's in focus. But you know, it has this matte black look and feel to kind of go along with the bag. And when you take off that top cover, it exposes a compartment that can hold up to 5 rolls of 35mm film, and I believe you could also store 120 film in here as well. But this is an amazing little pouch, or maybe I should say canister case, to keep all of your film in one place and organized. Because a lot of times before, when I was shooting in the city and I bring multiple rolls on me, they would be scattered in my bag. Some of the, you know, leading tips of the film would get crushed or bent in, and so kind of winding them in the camera would be a little bit weird. But this little thing keeps everything nice and organized, nice and packed, nice and fresh, and makes shooting film honestly really easy. Definitely pick yourself one of these up. These aren't new at all, but I will be leaving some links in the description below. Along with that, in my bag, I'll also keep a fresh pair of sunglasses. You never know when you're gonna need, you know, a pair of sunglasses to wear, especially because I'm out wandering for hours and hours at a time. Another thing that I always bring with me is this little metal case. Now, if you don't know what this is just a business card holder. It holds a few business cards that you can kind of have on demand. And this is great just in case somebody asks you, you know, for your socials, if they want to check out your work, or maybe you have a potential client you meet and they want to hire you. You always have business cards, you know, ready to go. This right here is essential. Another thing that is absolutely essential, folks, are these Zeiss lens wipes. I always keep one of these inside of my bag at all times, just because you never know when you're gonna need to clean your lens. It's always good to make sure that your gear stays nice and fresh so that it provides you the best possible results at the end of the day. Now, in terms of photography related gear, I think that's pretty much all there is that goes into my bag. Otherwise, I do have like an Apple Watch that I keep with me on my wrist, just to kind of tell time. And this was like an older generation Apple Watch. I think this is like the 5 or 4, not 100% sure, but it does the job. And then as for my phone, I have the iPhone 12 Pro. And last but not least, the item that I always take with me, whether that be on my body or in the trunk of my car, is some type of coat. Now, the two that I have been rocking lately are this black puffer jacket that I got. It's a generic brand, but it fits real nice. It's nice and cozy and warm and layers really well. As you guys can see, I kind of like to stick to that all black theme, but that pretty much wraps it up. You know, I don't really keep a lot of unnecessary things like, you know, extra light meters. If I need one, I have one in my camera or using my phone as a light meter. I do carry a lot of film, but that's just because I shoot a lot of film. But the idea when creating this kit was to be able to travel long distances with a super lightweight pack that was gonna allow me to be able to make photographs on the fly. One thing that I noticed about my favorite street photographers was that they would spend hours and hours on their feet every day with their camera. And they all kind of shared one thing in common, and that was they had one little bag and their camera, and that was it. They didn't carry like a whole backpack or like a whole side satchel. It was like a small pack that carried just the bare essentials to be able to go out and make photographs. And so that's kind of why I based this kit to be designed that way, just so I could be out there for a very long time without having to feel the fatigue of carrying a ton of gear. So that's going to wrap it up, man, for my everyday carry street photography edition. I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section down below what items you bring on your daily sessions. And that's going to wrap it up for me, you guys. Drop a like and hit that subscribe button below. But I'll see you in the next episode. As always, Minolta Gang.